Again, we are in a handover period between our satellites, but we'll regain communication and views of the crew here shortly. And right on cue, we do have a view inside the International Space Station of our spacewalkers today. NASA astronaut Anne McClain is wearing the spacesuit with red stripes, and NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers will be wearing the unmarked spacesuit today. Assisting on your screen is NASA astronaut Johnny Kim, as well as coming into view now JAXA, or Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takuya Onishi. They've helped to get McClain and Ayers suited up and get their SAFERs, or Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue, installed onto their spacesuits, and have performed checks to ensure that everything is as it should be ahead of depressurization. At this time, both McClain and Ayers are in the crew lock portion of the International Space Station. And as Onishi and Kim continue to step through procedures ahead of depressurization, the crew is about 25 minutes down on the timeline today, so we are expecting the spacewalk to begin around 7:40 a.m. Central Time this morning. We mark the beginning of the spacewalk from the time that the spacesuits are switched on internal battery power. And we are seeing Onishi prepare to close the hatch. Some waves goodbye. See you soon, more like it. Kim and Onishi are continuing to work to get the hatch closed today. Following this, McClain and Ayers, who are in the crew lock portion of the International Space Station, will complete some communications checks before getting the go for depressurization. Inside the crew lock, the pressure is about 14.4 pounds per square inch. That eventually needs to get down to vacuum before the hatch outside the International Space Station can be opened and the crew can float out to begin their spacewalk. We are anticipating today's spacewalk to begin around 7:40 a.m. Central Time this morning and last approximately 6.5 hours. The main tasks for today's spacewalk are to install a modification kit in preparation for ongoing solar array upgrades to the space station, as well as relocate a communications antenna for visiting spacecraft to the orbiting lab.
Houston airlock for EME pre-breathe. Step 76 and 77 are complete.
We copy. We'll put 78 through 80 in work. Airlock Houston, EV crew are hot mic'd on space to ground 1.
Airlock copies. So EV1 and EV2 is now hot mic 2 on SG1, and for EV2 on UIA, check switch depress pump power is off OFF.
Depress pump power is off, OFF.
Verify depress pump enable LEDs on.
The enable LED is on.
It's on airlock looking for go for step 84. Houston airlock on 1 com check.
We have you loud and clear. How us talk?
Okay, loud and clear. Looking for go for step 84.
An excellent job this morning. You are go in step 84.
Copy. Go to transition to the crew lock depress Q card. Okay, for EV crew members, we are now in a depress Q card, crew lock depress. For EV2 on UIA, switch depress pump power to on and wait 10 seconds for complete startup.
Right, depress pump power switch is on.
And the
Okay, for EV2, you can open depress pump manual isolation valve and EV crew expect alert tone.
Pump man ISO valve is open.
Monitor suit P gauge less than 5.5.
V1 copies. V2 copies.
and McClain and Ayers did get the go for depressurization, so they're stepping through procedures with Onishi as well as the team here on the ground. Depressurization is underway. Pressure inside the crew lock is now at about 13 pounds per square inch. As a reminder, it does need to get all the way down to 0, or the equivalent of vacuum, before the airlock can be opened. Depressurization does take place in a two-stage fashion. The pressure inside the airlock will get down to 5 pounds per square inch, at which point they'll pause depressurization to do a system check, make sure everything is configured properly before continuing to depress down to 0 or vacuum. Once it does get to vacuum, McClain and Ayers will conduct another suit and communication check with Mission Control Houston before they put their...
On 1, can we read the star block in step 2 of the Q card?
Copy that. So for both EV crew, if suit P gauge is greater than 5.5, stop, depress, and check MCCH.
EV1 copy, suit gauge is 5 and steady. EV2 copy and same, 5 and steady.
And again, once the suits are switched to internal battery power, that will mark the official start of today's spacewalk. Depressurization is continuing as expected inside the airlock. The pressure is now approaching 10 pounds per square inch. This view on your screen of NASA astronaut Johnny Kim on the left and Japan Aerospace Exploration astronaut Takuya Onishi, who have stepped through procedures to assist McClain and Ayers this morning to get suited up, and now working through depressurization procedures as well.
For both crew members, when crew lock at 6.0, EV crew expect alert tone.
V1 copy. AV2 copy.
Pressure inside the crew lock now approaching 8 pounds per square inch. As a reminder, once pressure reaches 5 pounds per square inch, depressurization will pause for some communications and systems checks. And if you are just joining us this morning, NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers are in the process of getting Again, if you're just joining us this morning, NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers are stepping through procedures to get the crew lock down to vacuum. The pressure inside is about 6.7 pounds per square inch. Today's spacewalk is the 275th in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades, and the main tasks will be to install a mounting bracket ahead of the installation of an additional set of International Space Station Rollout Solar Arrays, or IROSAs, as well as relocate a communications for visiting vehicle antenna called C2V2.
The next step is for EV2. When crew lock pressure is at 5.0, you can close depress pump manual isolation valve and EV expect alert tone.
2 copy.
Pressure inside the crew lock now approaching 5 pounds per square inch. As a reminder, once 5 pounds per square inch of pressure is reached, there will be a pause in depressurization for some communications and systems checks.
For EV2, I'm not seeing the airlock key on my DCS anymore, so can you let me know when it's at 5?
Maybe we can switch status switch. We also have data, so we can tell you when to close. We are close.
Yep. See it now. It's 5.3.
Copy.
And we are seeing that the crew lock is now at 5 psi.
And ISO valve is closed.
Copy that. For both crew members on DCM, switch display switch to status until leak check question mark displayed, and hold yes for 2 seconds and follow displayed instructions for leak check.
Okay, EV1 is starting leak check. And leak check wait.
If you see if leak is high should key message, let us know.
Okay, copy.
And Ayers and McClain are now working through some procedures to do a leak check ahead of continuing depressurization down to vacuum.
EV1 is going to go tracks ready to EPA. 2, save.
Good call. So for both crew members, set O2 actuator to EVA.
EV1 is in EVA.
Okay, so just double check EV2, your O2 actuator is also in EVA, right?
Standby 1, we're in work. And Vapor, while you're working that, just wanted for baseline glove check. On my right index finger, I just noticed a small slice about 2 millimeters long in the RTV. And through it, I can see one single white string.
Houston Airlock, did you copy that initial baseline glove report from EV1?
And we copy talk right index finger on EV1, 2 to 4 millimeters long on the RTV, one small white string. Is there a length on that string?
No, it's kind of inside. So if I kind of open up, it's directly a straight slit. And if I open it up, I can kind of see a few strands. They're not sticking out. I can just see them kind of separated within the slice or within the cut.
Houston copies.
And Susan, yes.
Nice job, Becca. And for next step is for EV2. Stand by. Houston airlock. Do we have go for further depress?
And Talk, we have additional question for Anne for her right index finger on that string. Is it cut or loose in any way?
I'm trying to evaluate. I can't tell if it's cut. It does not look like as woven as the other white thing, if you will. I assume, are you allowed to look at HECA right now?
And Anne, we copy. We are go for you to turn on your HECA. We would like to take a look at that.
I thought so. My HECA is on. I have a green light. Let me know when you're seeing it, and I'll try to give you a good view.
And we copy. We're putting that streaming in work now.
Copy.
And as part of a baseline glove and HAP check, NASA astronaut Anne McClain did report out some wear on one of her gloves. The team on the ground has asked Anne McClain to turn on her helmet camera and are going to take a look at that to get some more information.
EV1, this is Houston with follow-up question. We're still working on the streaming. It'll be about 3 to 5 minutes. While we wait, we're looking for a more clear location of where that string is. Is it on the middle of your finger or the edge?
Okay, if I'm looking at the side of my right index finger, is where the white back of the glove goes to the RTV. It is about half a centimeter below that. If the white is on top and the RTV is on the bottom, it's about half a centimeter below that. And it is not in the very first gap in the RTV toward the fingertip. It's in the next one down. Right on the, kind of on the edge of where the finger bends.
We copy, Anne. Thank you.
And Houston for Sandy, if it helps, when I bend it, it's kind of right at the corner of where the finger bends. So when I bend it, it kind of opens up, the little cut opens up.
Perfect description. Thank you. We're chatting it. We'll be back with you in a little bit. Still working on streaming.
Okay. Thanks.
And again, the team here on the ground is working to configure helmet cameras to get a better look after NASA astronaut Anne McClain reported a slice in her right index finger glove. The team on the ground, again, is working to configure those cameras just to get a better look at that. And we are getting views now of NASA astronaut Anne McClain's glove. We are holding pressure at 5 pounds per square inch so the team on the ground can get a better look at that reported slice on her right index finger glove.
AV1, this is Houston. We do have streaming and we can see your glove now. If you want to move it a little closer, we can maybe get a closer view.
Okay, and I can kind of see it's right at the bend. If I'm putting it in the wrong place, just let me know which direction to move. When it's straight, it's...
If you could move it away from the light, it's kind of bleaching it out, so more across your body. Perfect, and stand there. EV1, this is Houston. Thank you so much for your video. We are assessing and discussing it on the grounds.
Copy, thanks. Let me know if you need any other views.
And if you are just joining us this morning, we are holding at 5 pounds per square inch of pressure as the team here on the ground has turned on the helmet camera of NASA astronaut Anne McClain as she reported out a slice on her right index finger glove. The team is continuing to assess on the ground and get some more visual inspection of the glove.
EV1 Houston, back with you. Thank you so much for that video. Taking a look, it is a string from the turtle skin along your finger, along the seam of your finger. So we are go to continue with that being the case. Please check and keep an eye on it during your glove checks, but no additional checks needed other than keep reporting if you see anything more off nominal. When you are ready, we are go for you to turn your HECA off.
Thank you. Okay, I will turn that HECA off. Thank you. It is off.
Houston Airlock on 1, we copy that we are still close for picking up.
Airlock Houston, we are ready for you to resume the depress.
Copy that. So for EV2, you can open depress pump manual isolation valve and EV expect alert pump.
Depress pump isolation valve is open.
And we will open emergency MCAB open on this side. For both crew members, monitor safety gauge less than 5.5. If gauge shows greater than 5.5, stop, depress, and check Houston.
V1 copy. AV2 copy.
And following visual inspection using the helmet camera on NASA astronaut Anne McClain's spacesuit, the team on the ground is comfortable with proceeding with today's spacewalk following a slice reported by NASA astronaut Anne McClain on her right glove. Depressurization has continued and is now back underway, pressure approaching 4 pounds per square inch. The team on the ground did discuss having some additional checkouts of the glove throughout the spacesuit. That is part of the normal procedure. We have glove and what is called HAP, or helmet absorption pad checks, regularly throughout the entire spacewalk. And the pressure inside the crew lock is now 3 pounds per square inch. Once we do reach vacuum, or 0 pounds per square inch.
Step is for EV2. When crew lock at 2.0 psi, you can close depress pump manual isolation valve.
Copy.
Once vacuum is reached, some additional checks will take place with the ground before the spacesuits are switched onto internal battery power, which will mark the official start of today's spacewalk. NASA astronaut Johnny Kim and JAXA astronaut Kuya Anushi are continuing to step through procedures ahead of depressurization. We're nearing 2 pounds per square inch of pressure inside the crew lock at this time.
Restaurant man isolation valve is closed.
Copy, and the next step is for also EV2. On UIA, switch depress pump power switch power to off OFF.
Press pump power is off. OFF.
See that? And I will hand you guys over to Marcos on the ground for the Tether configuration check.
Copy. Great job today, Talk and Johnny. Thanks for getting us ready.
We'll wait for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. That was awesome.
And in vapor, 10 seconds
start.
till handover. We'll catch you on the other side.
See you, Marcus.
And as pressure in the crew lock approaches 1 pound per square inch, we did have a handover to our ground IV, who is NASA astronaut Marcos Barrios, who is going to be communicating with NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers during today's spacewalk. Again, the goal of today's spacewalk is to install a modification kit ahead of upcoming solar array upgrades, or IROSAs, as well.
For your essay, I've kind of shifted off to the right, so when we go to open the hatch, we'll have to do a little another shift. Okay.
Good morning, Ann and Vapor. The sun is shining outside the airlock right now, and we're ready to continue. So with that, we'll have you report our initial tether configuration.
Okay, and good morning, Marcos. This is EV1 Ann. I will start off and then hand off to Vapor. I will start with my right D-ring extender. I have a waist tether, locked, gate closed slider lock, black on black. That right waist tether is connected to the EV2 safety tether. I see my right waist tether, gate closed slider lock, black on black. That is hooked to EV2 safety tether anchor hook, gate closed slider lock, black on black. That goes to her green reel, which is unlocked. See her yellow hook, it's attached to her green reel, gate closed slider lock, black on black. The green hook of the green reel goes to her red reel, which is unlocked. Green hook is also unlocked. And then I'll pass that on to her for the rest of that tether or that path, and then I'll give you my left side. Okay. I've got my small red hook on my right green extender. It closed the clock, black on black. My right waist tether is on my right D-ring extender. It closed the clock, black on black. That goes to the airlock D-ring extender. It is closed the clock, black on black. And then I've got a left waist tether on my left D-ring extender. That gate is closed the clock, black on black. And the large hook of my left waist tether is on my mini workstation. Right, so back to EV1. On my left D-ring extender, I have a waist tether, gate closed, slider lock, black on black. That hook just goes to my mini workstation. And then my safety tether, red hook, is on my left D-ring extender, gate closed, slider lock, black on black. Goes to my red reel, which is unlocked. To my red reel is my green hook, which is unlocked. From my red reel, my yellow hook is gate closed, slider lock, black on black, attached to my green reel, which is unlocked, and the anchor is on my workstation. I also have a single waist tether hooked to the airlock D-ring extender, and that's just hooked back to a handrail.
Copy, Ann and Vapor, and that is a good configuration. So next, when the change of pressure in the crew lock is approximately 0, expect an alert tone.
V1 copies. V2 copies.
And just as a reminder, we are going to pause for data review and a go from MCC before proceeding with hatch operations, Ann.
V1 copies.
And then as the airlock pressure drops below 0, there are 2 messages that you might get, just for your awareness. The first one is suit P high. If either of your met rates are very low, that is expected, no action. And the other is H2O is off. If the switch is in the off position for over a certain amount of time, that's also expected, no action needed on your part.
V1 copies. Thanks, Marcos. V2 copies.
Pressure inside the crew lock now approaching 1 pound per square inch as McClain and Ayers completed some checks here on the ground to make sure that their tethers were all configured properly. Pressure now less than 1 pound per square inch inside the crew lock with NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers. Once the crew lock does reach vacuum, the duo will get the go to switch their suits onto battery power, which will mark the official beginning of today's spacewalk. In this view back inside the International Space Station of JAXA astronaut Takuya Onishi, who has been working with McClain and Ayers this morning to get them suited up, ready to go, and inside the crew lock, which is now at 0.86 pounds per square inch of pressure. Today's spacewalk will be the third for McClain and the first for Ayers, and the 275th spacewalk in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades. During today's spacewalk, McClain and Ayers will complete tasks to build and install a mounting bracket on the 2A power channel in preparation for the next delivery of ISS rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs, which will be delivered on a future flight. Additionally, they will relocate a communications antenna for visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station. Pressure inside the crew lock now at 0.75 pounds per square inch. Pressure inside the airlock now at 0.64 pounds per square inch. Once pressure does reach a vacuum, which is 0 pounds per square inch, the crew will be able to turn their spacesuits onto battery power, which will mark the official begin of today's spacewalk. And this view on your screen of NASA astronaut Marcos Berrios, who is the ground IV and will be interfacing with Ayers and McClain this morning.
And Vapor, I know you both heard this earlier today, but we just wanted to repeat it for your situational awareness. Throughout the EVA, we're going to have 4 prolonged KU band loss of signal. And so the impact there is that we will not have Eureka or station camera views. We will have S-band during that time, so we will be able to talk to you. That first one is coming up in about 30 minutes.
Do you want copies? Copy. And Marcos, how long are those expected to last?
And anywhere between 20 to 35, 40 minutes. We'll give you a heads up as to how long. The first one will be approximately 20 minutes.
Thanks.
Pressure inside the crew lock now at 0.51 pounds per square inch.
And in Vapor, we're showing the crew lock pressure less than 0.5, and we have a go from MCC to proceed with hatch operations.
Copy, I see the hatch gauge is reading 0.5.
Copy, and hatch gauge is less than 0.6 psi. You can open the EV hatch and stow it.
Copy and work. All right, great. I'm going to shimmy your way a little. Yep, you got room.
And with that, McClain and Ayers did get the go. The go to open up the hatch, so we will see them float out here shortly. First, they'll remove the cover of the hatch, and then we'll see them come out from that point.
coming down your way a little more. Okay, the EV hatch is open. Hatch is in the hatch key.
Copy, and TOC, you can close the emergency MPES.
Emergency MPES is closed.
Copy, TOC, and then and Vapor, we're going to pause again here for another data review before continuing with the post-depress procedures.
If you want copies. You copy.
And Vapor, for your situational awareness, one more message that you might receive is the SCU power avail. That is when we go to the bat on the power switch and the SCU is still connected for a certain amount of time. No action required.
You want copies.
And in Vapor data review is complete. We have to go to continue. So on your DCM, we're going to stagger these switch throws, and you will go first. Take your power switch to bat. Expect a warning tone. Expect a warning tone.
Power switch to bat. And I got the warning tone. Power is in bat with the warning tone.
You can take your display.
Marcos, my display is functional.
Copy and Vapor, you can take your display switch to Pro.
Display functional.
I copy a Vapor on the UIA power EV 1 and 2 switch to off OFF, and you will check that the 1 and 2 LEDs are off as well.
Right, EV1 power is off. LEDs are off and volts are showing 0. There's the H2O is off message for EV1, that's expected. And the power for EV2 is off, LEDs are off, and volts are showing 0. I also got the H2O is off and the 2P high.
Copy those messages. All right, for the both of you, you can disconnect your SCU from the DCM. You'll install the cover, and you'll stow the SCU in the pouch.
V1, SCU is removed in the pouch. My cover is back on my DCM.
Copy, Ann.
And we are awaiting hatch opening here this morning. But prior to that, NASA astronauts and McClain and Nichole Ayers will switch their suits to battery power, which will mark the official begin of today's spacewalk.
Right, EVT SC is removed from the DCM in the pouch and cover is on.
Copy you both. Vapor, you can take the depress pump man ISO valve to close. That would be a check, Vapor.
Marcos for EV. Yeah, the depress pump and ISO valve is closed. And for EV1, I have a TCV 6.
TCV 6 for you, and copy. Both of you on your DCM, you can take your temperature control valve to max hot.
right. All right, EV1 has temperature control valve and max hot. EV2 safe.
Take your water switch to on.
EV1, water is on. Water on.
Lights off.
ECM is blank for EV1, no bite.
And Vapor, apologies, I may have missed it if you called us with your DCM.
I'm sorry, the DCM is blank by lights off.
Copy. You can both of you take your temperature control valve as desired and let us know what it is, and then please keep us informed if you make those any TCV changes during the EVA.
Copy, and EV1 is at TCV 6. 2 TCV 5.
Copy 6 and 5 for EV1, EV2 respectively, and both of you can report your P-suit gauge.
EV1, CP gauge 4.2. 2, CP gauge 4.2.
Copy 4.2 for the both of you. Visors as required. The sun is out for the next 28 minutes.
And with suits now on battery power, the official start time of today's spacewalk is 8:05 a.m. Central Time this morning.
Keep ready.
First out of the hatch today will be NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She'll be wearing the spacesuit with the red stripes.
We are going to be stepping into the procedures. So with that, and your first step is to open the hatch thermal cover.
Copy, I'll be opening the thermal cover, and I do see 6 lines visible on the AET.
Copy those.
And I'll be stowing it on the ring.
Good words. Once the thermal cover is open, you'll egress the airlock and turn your HECA on.
Copy. Right, it is stowed back onto the ring, and I still see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We copy?
And the thermal cover is now open.
EV1 is partially out of the airlock. HECA is on.
Copy, and HECA is on. You're going to start by attaching your anchor hook to the aft airlock external V-ring.
Copy, that's in work.
And Vapor, for you as you wait.
Vapor. Yep.
And then once you have your anchor hook, Vapors is going to go on the forward airlock external D-ring. And Vapor, as you wait next for you, is going to be handing out either the cable bag or the strap bag. You just let us know.
All right, Marcos, my safety tether is attached to the aft D-ring extender and gate closed slider lock black on black. I'll be working on Vapors.
Copy.
And first out of the airlock is NASA astronaut Anne McClain. This is the third spacewalk of her career. She's again wearing the spacesuit with the red stripes. Next up will be Nichole Ayers. Her first spacewalk today. She'll be wearing the unmarked spacesuit. First order of business for our spacewalkers today will be to...
Right, UV2, safety tether anchor is on the forward forward airlock D-ring. Gate closed, slider locked, black on black.
Copy. And you can give Vapor a go to release her waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender when it's applicable, and then next will be to receive the bag from Vapor.
Okay. So Vapor, you can do your waist tether anytime you want. You have a good tether path. Okay, copy that. I've got the cable bag. I see it. Out, ready for you. I'm coming into a good position to grab it here. Okay, one by one.
First order of business for McClain and Ayers will be to get the 8-foot-long strut bag out of the airlock, as well as the tool bag that will be utilized during today's spacewalk. They'll then translate to the port side of the International Space Station, heading to the work site of the modification kit structure, or mod kit.
Okay, so we're going to cable bag first. Copy. All right, one by one, I'm about to grab it with my BRT ret. Copy. All right, my BRT ret is on the cable bag. You are good to release the airlock, large, small. And I have my BRT on that as well. Okay, the airlock ret is released. Copy. So this for translation, and then my hand to help you with EV3.
And Vapor, you'll put that ret on the airlock D-ring extender.
Marcus, I threw it on the airlock D-ring to leave the extender free. That works.
Copy that. That works. Thanks.
And if you're just joining us, we are now 12 minutes into the 275th spacewalk outside the International Space Station.
Back toward you a little bit. Okay.
Today's spacewalk began at 8:05 a.m. Central. NASA astronaut Anne McClain is outside of the airlock. She's wearing the spacesuit with the red stripes. Nichole Ayers is working to get out of the airlock as well. She'll be wearing the unmarked spacesuit today. The goal of today's spacewalk is to complete a modification kit build and installation on the International Space Station ahead of upcoming solar array upgrades, as well as relocate a common communications for visiting vehicles antenna, otherwise known as C2V2.
And then it kind of got pulled aft. Okay, I do have a hand on it. I'm not ready to it, so let me let go. And to help it, pull on it here.
At this time, McClain and Ayers are working to remove the strut bag from the crew lock, as well as the tool bag that will be utilized during today's spacewalk.
So if you just stabilize pressurize it. I can get my ret on it. Okay. Okay, I have a ret on it. Okay. We'll release the airlock ret. Okay. Okay, the airlock ret is released, and Marcus, I'm just going to let that send back to the handrail.
Copy that, Vapor.
You should just need one on the way in. Vapor. Right. So I'm going to position myself around to the aft and give you the forward to mount.
The strut bag that McClain and Ayers are working to get out of the airlock is about 8 feet long,
Okay.
and it contains the pieces of the modification kit that will be assembled during today's spacewalk.
CST is back in the patch. Those look good. Copy. I think you're clear to egress. Got the forward side.
And those are good words. And if you have a free hand, it looks like your HECA was turned off, so if you can turn it back on for us, we'd appreciate it.
Hey, it's back on. Green light.
Copy. And after you've egress Vapor, next will be to put that strut bag on your BRT, and I'll have more words for you.
And now out of the hatch is NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers. Again, today is her first spacewalk, and this is the third for NASA astronaut Ann McClain in the suit with the red stripes.
Hazard and everything get situated before we hand off.
And a Vapor question for you, whether or not you wanted to do the translation adaptation with or without the strut bag.
I feel like I did a lot of translation adaptation in my airlock, but
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable is for you.
Copy. Everybody's okay with that, yeah.
Copy that. Then you can continue with the strut bag. Tape towards your head.
All right, you can kind of GCA me because I can't totally see the handrail. Okay, so the is towards my head. Tape it a little bit.
We'll get your ret to the non-taped end of the handrail stanchion, Vapor.
Copy. And now move it, hold it right there. What we're doing? Yep. My ret is on the non-take-down, the hammer. Okay, you have a ret on it? I do. Okay, before you pull it your way, I'm going to take my ret off. Copy. Okay, my ret's off. Back on my NWS. All right, how can I help you get this situated here? My dear T on it now. T is on it. Basically, the end that's by my feet is up towards back. I get mine back where it was. Pause there. I'm going to put this adjustable on my spinning workstation. Okay.
And now out of the airlock is also that strut bag, that long 8-foot long strut bag that has the pieces of the modification kit that will be assembled and installed during today's spacewalk. And we are getting a view from NASA astronaut Ann McClain's helmet camera here.
Okay. We're done.
Good job, the both of you. And Vapor will have you turn your HECA on.
Okay.
And we'll go with buddy checks after.
Hey.
With the strut bag and the tool bag out of the airlock, McClain and Ayers will now work to translate to the port side of the space station.
I can see your spacer handle is down. I can see your HECA light. I've got your HECA light, and I've got 3 tabs up. So your left spacer handle is down. Now to your left, the right spacer handle is down, so both spacer handles are down. And your tools and tethers look pretty clean to me. Let me have your camera real quick. Have a tether that.
And can you confirm that both of Vapor's safer handles are down?
Yes, her safer handles are down.
Copy that. We'll get a baseline hap check from the both of you.
And my hap for EV1 is dry. Yep, can you lean forward a little bit? My hap is dry as well for EV2. All right, it's back on. Nicely done.
Copy that. Nicely done. We can close the thermal cover now, and as that's being closed, I'll read 2 cautions before you start translating. Vapor, for you with a strut bag on, we're going to limit your translation speed, so think very slow, 0.7 feet per second. And then just as a reminder, you've got the tusk cables on phase 1, and nadir and zenith where the cedar rails are.
Copy.
It's 2 minutes until TDRS handover and also KU handover, so we'll lose video for 16 minutes.
1 copy. Thermal covers closed.
Copy, thermal covers closed. We can start translating port for the both of you. Vapor, you are going to lead. First step is going to be green hook drop-off.
Okay, didn't work.
And with the thermal cover now closed, both McClain and Ayers will work to translate to the port side of the International Space Station, which is the work site of the modification kit structure for today. You also heard the duo perform what is called buddy checks. This is essentially a check to make sure everything on their spacesuit is working and looking as expected. These will take place throughout the spacewalk and include looking at gloves, looking at the helmet absorption pad, as well as making sure that their safer is in the proper configuration.
Copy.
We are approaching a period of time where we will not have visual of the crew during a longer handover period. It will last about 16 minutes. However, we will be able to communicate with them still during this handover period. These handover periods are expected and occur due to handover between satellites.
On the speed of right.
And can we have you pause for a second, take a look back at the airlock and see if the thermal cover is still on? We believe it may have popped open.
It's top open.
Copy that. If you don't mind going back to close it, we'd appreciate it.
More. Down on the feed rail, transiting port.
And before the loss of signal, the team on the ground did notice that the thermal cover had opened back up, so McClain is going to translate back over to the airlock to ensure that that thermal cover is closed.
Thermal cover is back closed.
Copy, yeah, appreciate it. And Vapor, as you approach the FHRC, your green hook is going to be handrail 3651. It is the nadir one.
Nadir handrail at the FHRC. Can I come back up to see the spur?
Copy, Ann.
EV1's on phase one.
Copy, Ann. You'll continue port to your green hook location. It'll be the Zenith handrail 3652.
Copy. Paper bag's looking good. It's big. I will say that much. What? It's a large bag. Yes, it is.
And if you're just joining us today, we are in the midst of a spacewalk. We are now 28 minutes into today's spacewalk to complete a modification kit installation on the 2A location of the International Space Station shown there on your screen. Previously, we have installed other International Space Station rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs, on the other locations that you see. At this time, NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers, who are doing their third and first spacewalk respectively, are translating to the 2A location, where they will begin to build the modification kit and attach it to that location that you see on your screen. And you may recall that over the past couple of years, we've continued to work to upgrade the power channels on the space station. Today's mounting bracket installation on 2A sets us up to have that array installed at a later date. The current solar arrays are functioning well, but have begun to show signs of degradation as expected, as they were designed for a 15-year service life. And this year we are celebrating 25 years of continuous human presence on board the International Space Station. Once the new solar arrays are positioned in front of the other arrays, the current arrays, the station's total available power will increase from 160 kilowatts to a maximum of 215 kilowatts.
Copy vapor. Handrail 3651 to Nader 1.
Additionally, during today's spacewalk, McClain and Ayers will work to relocate a common communications for visiting vehicle antenna, or C2V2, 1.5 feet over, to provide better redundancy for visiting spacecraft at the International Space Station.
My green hook is on 3651.
Copy vapor. Once that's complete, you'll continue port to the work site. Just make sure your gauntlets are in place prior to crossing the Sarge.
Gauntlets are in place.
Copy vapor, and then 2 cautions at the work site. Do not touch the radiator or the flex hoses, and do not translate on that PVR base handrail. And
I'm at 3652 and working on the green hook.
we copy, Ann. Thanks. And the vapor, you're going to be going nadir at the Sarge to your work site, and you will be fair leading along the inboard non-radiator corner of the IEA before dropping the strut back.
At this time, McClain and Ayers are continuing to translate to the port side of the International Space Station, heading to the work site of the modification kit structure for today. Once they are at that location, they will secure their 2 bags, the tool bag and the 8-foot-long strut bag, and begin the installation activity. Ayers will start the modification activity by removing the strut out of the bag and assembling what is called an upper triangle, consisting of several pieces. It consists of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. Ayers will then hand that assembled triangle to McClain, who will install it on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly, or BGA. The duo will be utilizing the pistol grip tool, or PGT, to secure it to the beta gimbal assembly.
The method charge Scotland is still down.
Say again for ground IV.
P2's SSR Scotland is still down. And G1's got green hook on 3652.
Copy, and just ensure that your gauntlets are down and do not touch the radiator or flick hoses or the base handrail.
G1 copy. Gauntlets are down.
Copy gauntlets. Next for you then, Ann, is continue to translate port to the worksite. You're going to be stowing the cable bag and putting the IROSA cables just external to the bag. No fair lead required.
EV1 copy. Visiting aft on the IEA.
Copy. And as a reminder, you'll fair lead there at that inboard corner vapor, and then you'll proceed with the strut bag drop-off.
And I'm at the start. Gauntlets are in place.
Copy, and you'll go nadir to your worksite.
Nadir. I'm looking at handrail 5136. I tried to put a and you'll have to take a look at it when you get there. Make sure it's not in your way. Okay. Sounds good.
And vapor, I guess a copy, you are dropping the strut bag. Looks like you already started with one handrail. We can give the other ones if you need it. Just make sure that the handrail is towards the center of the IEA. The tape is towards the mass canister and that it's flush with the outboard edge of the IEA.
Okay, copy that. If I did view on your safety tether vapor, that's a good spot. I'll make sure I don't tag it down with a bag. Okay.
And Ann, so next for you is stowing the cable bag. I've got handrails if you need them, and then tending the IROSA cables external to the bag.
Okay.
The vapor, once you're complete, you'll open the strut bag, secure the straps, and let us know we can get started.
See that?
And in vapor, 2 minutes until a TDRS handover.
V1 copy. Copy. I've got the bag tied down at 5126 and 5136 on the platform.
Copy that, vapor. Vapor, after opening the bag, you will retrieve the mounting bracket and the right upper strap.
All right, I have one corner of the cable bag on 5117.
Copy.
And if I verified your tether is still free.
"40 seconds until a TDRS handover, and once you're complete putting the ROSA cables outside of the bag, you're translating starboard to the feeder cart.
Copy. Is that bag going? Okay, I just cinched down the tie downs just to hold it a little bit better. Okay. I'm just getting a second tie down here on the cable bed.
And in vapor, we're back with you. And we have your heck of views.
Awesome. Okay, I have a second corner of the cable bag on 5109. Get the cables out here. And again, vapor your tether is free. Okay. The bag open, I'm going for the upper strap.
Copy, and after the cables are outside the bag, you'll translate starboard to pick up your green hook prior to going to the starboard feeder cart.
Copy. All right, cables are out. And Vapor, I think that our original plan, these will reach over there. Okay, you need it.
And we are getting some views now on our screen of some of those cables that NASA astronaut Anne McClain is working to remove ahead of the build of the modification kit this morning. We are 43 minutes into today's spacewalk, which began officially at 8:05 a.m. Central Time. Today is the 275th spacewalk in support of space station maintenance, assembly, and upgrades.
And we are not receiving your HECA stream. Do you mind pressing the HECA button again?
Sure. Okay, let me know if you see it.
Copy.
All right, Vapor, I'm going to go on a little walk. I'll see you shortly. All right, have fun.
And we copy, and you'll translate starboard, pick up green hook.
Copy and work. Okay, so I've got the right upper strut out. 13 and 14. And my gauntlets are in place, Marco.
Copy, and appreciate that. And just remember the tusk cables on phase 1. Copy, Vapor, you've got the mounting bracket and the right upper strut. Make sure that the EV3 PGT is available for you, and you're going to be aligning the right upper strut with the mounting bracket.
Is nearby.
And Vapor, there should be a groove on the mounting bracket where the alignment tab is going into, and then on the side of the mounting bracket, you'll have black lines to let you know that you're aligned.
And this view of NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers' helmet cam as she works to prepare and assemble the strut to the mass canister. The upper triangle consists of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. Ayers will use the pistol grip tool, or PGT, to secure these pieces together before installing it onto the mod kit structure.
EV1 is at the green hook, and I'll work on picking mine up.
Copy, Ann. After you'll go to the starboard cedar cart to pick up the bundle. It's WIF 1. It's inboard and nadir, down and right.
Copy, thank you. Marcus, I have, for EV2, got 4 turns on M13 and M14.
Copy, good turns, M13, M14. Next, you'll grab your PGT and I'll have settings when you're ready.
The next bolt is 17.
And a good view inside of the bag there with the remaining pieces that will be assembled today.
You can actually continue and retrieve the left upper strut. It's a Velcro's straps 1 and 2.
I think that's it. All right, EV1 has my green hook, and I'm going to continue translation.
All right, we copy and starboard cedar cart, WIF 1.
While Ayers is working on assembly of the modification kit, NASA astronaut Anne McClain is translating to pick up an APFR, or articulating portable foot restraint, that will be utilized during later portions of today's spacewalk to help secure the assembled triangle to the modification kit.
And Vapor, with that left upper strut, you are going to align it with the center pad. And you'll check that the pit pin lanyard is free of the clevis before we do PGT ops.
The pit pin lanyard is clear of the clevis.
And we have your heck of you again. Sorry, I didn't tell you.
All good. Welcome back. Just passing the seat of spur. Vapor, I watched your tether all the way in. It looks great. Thank you.
And we copy.
Passing the port seat of Kurt.
And if you're just joining us this morning, we are approaching the 1 hour mark of today's spacewalk with NASA astronauts Anne McClain, who is serving as EV1 wearing a spacesuit with red stripes, as well as NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers, who you see a helmet view on your screen there as she works to use the pistol grip tool to assemble the upper triangle.
And looking for whiff 1, bottom right, inboard nadir.
Today's spacewalk is the third for McClain and the first for Ayers.
The hand start on my clevis, if you can see this, give me a little time on the quick.
The goal of today's spacewalk is to install a modification kit in preparation for ongoing solar array upgrades to the International Space Station and relocate a communications antenna for visiting spacecraft to the orbiting lab.
A whiff extender and an APFR.
That is the one, and you're going to put that on your BRT. Once that's complete, you'll head starboard, but first you'll do the brake release.
Copy.
And Vapor, from your heck of view, it looks like there may be a ret that is situated in a way that it's making it difficult to hold the upper triangle in place. So a recommendation is for you to lock the ret if you think it's necessary.
And on the screen here now, we see views of both NASA astronaut Anne McClain and Nichole Ayers' helmet cameras. Ayers is continuing to, on the right of your screen, is continuing to assemble the upper triangle portion of the modification kit. Meanwhile, NASA astronaut Anne McClain on the left of your screen is working to translate to a SETA cart where she will install the articulating portable foot restraint that she picked up previously.
Copy that, Anne.
Do you have a VRT ret on it?
And getting a good view now as Nichole Ayers works to assemble that upper triangle, you can really see it start to take shape. The upper triangle does consist of 2 struts and a mounting bracket. Once McClain joins Ayers, Ayers will hand that upper triangle to McClain, who will install it on the mass canister of the beta gimbal assembly, or BGA structure.
Say again, Vapor.
So CBT has 2 turns started on the
Vapor, we heard 2 turns started on M17. Looks like you have your PGT settings are Bravo 1 clockwise 2.
And Mark, I set Golf on the pitch on the WIFX.
Copy Golf on the WIFX. Appreciate that. Copy Golf on the WIFX. Appreciate that. And again, Ann, once that's complete, you'll be headed back to your work site. Green hook, but first SETA brakes.
Copy. On the EV, the good calendar, are we set? 41.7.
And Vapor, can you say again, you're coming in kind of broken?
Got a good cal test on the PG 41.2 volts. A good LED test. I've got Bravo 1 clockwise 2 set.
Copy good cal, Bravo 1 clockwise 2. Looking for an additional 5 to 7 turns. You'll drive M17 to torque.
Marcos, I have 2 good pumps on the port SETA cart. Direction starboard.
Copy that, and next will be the port SETA cart.
And Ayers is using the pistol grip tool, or PGT, essentially a space drill, to help assemble that upper triangle we discussed.
Marcos for EVT, that was 6 turns. Got a green light. 11.9 on this. Back under the MT.
Copy, Vapor. If you can confirm that the black line is flush.
Vapor, black line is flush.
And Vapor, that is a good M17. You can release the ret from the right upper strut.
Because I have 2 good full pumps on the port SETA cart, because you know what they say, pumps a day keeps the mur away.
Oh, we agree with that statement. Good job And next will be to continue translating port to your green hook location, just nadir of the FHRC. Same place as previous.
Okay, copy. I'm going to pause here and get this APFR in a little bit of a different config. Just wanting to jump around a little more than I expected.
And we copy.
And this is a view of NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She is serving as EV1 during her third spacewalk today, as you can tell by the spacesuit she's wearing with the red stripes. She is working to readjust the APFR, or articulating portable foot restraint.
And Vapor, just catching up with
you. Back out your way, Vapor.
She will utilize this to help install the upper triangle that Ayers is building as we speak. McClain will need to use the APFR to help install the upper triangle on the mass canister of the Beta gimbal assembly.
To the center pad grounding block.
I did not. I will do that now.
Copy. After the pip pin, I'll have instructions for MLI, so just let me know once that's done.
And I'm going back by the seat of spur.
Copy, Ann.
And as we get this pan of the International Space Station truss structure, you're getting a good view of the handrails, which is what the crew utilizes when they translate or move from one location of the International Space Station to the other.
Marcos, the pip pin is installed.
Copy, Vapor. Can you verify that the pip pin for the right upper strut is still installed?
Yes.
Sweet. And then you can install the left upper strut MLI on the center pad, covering the L2 clevis, as well as the right upper strut MLI.
What? All right, Marcus, I am back at 3652. Work on the green hook again.
Copy. And after that, you'll be continuing starboard to your work site to install the bundle.
In this view of Nichole Ayers' helmet cam of the upper triangle, she has been in the process of installing multi-layer insulation, or MLI, around the upper triangle. It's that white fabric material that you do see.
How many turns you started on M15?
4.
Copy. That's good turns on M15. We'll work on M16. I've got PGT settings when you're ready.
Send it.
Bravo 3 clockwise 2 on EV3 PGT.
Yeah, I've got Bravo 3. Clockwise 2.
Copy. You're going to be driving M16 to torque. Expect 24 to 25 turns, and we'll get the black line flush call.
Yeah, it looks. Green hook, EV1 on 3652.
And I copied your last, and just ensure that your gauntlets are down prior to crossing the Sarge.
Copy, will do.
McClain is continuing her translation or movement over to where NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers is. Once there, she will assist her in finishing up the build of the upper triangle portion before they work together to install it on the mass canister.
Hey, we're going for EDC M16, about 22.5 turns. Green light for the torque. And the black line is flush.
And Vapor, can you say those numbers again for us, please?
22.5, 22.5 turns, 0.8 on the torque. Right, black line flush. For EV1, my gauntlets are in place. I'm approaching the Sarge.
And Vapor, we're talking here on the ground real quick, and copy your gauntlets are down. You're proceeding to the work site. Just note you've got the radiator and the PVR handrail. Do not touch, and you'll be dropping off the bundle on with
25. 20, actually.
And we are approaching a day pass here, as you can tell on your screen as it is getting brighter.
We're just having a hard time reading you. It's coming in a little broken.
The International Space Station is currently flying 262 statute miles over the North Pacific Ocean off the coast of Alaska.
Green light, black line, big flush. All right, I'm back on the IA with you. With you.
And we're discussing Vapor. And Vapor, we're expecting 24 turns. We got about 22 and a half. So we'd like you to hit M16 one more time to torque.
And a really great view here of NASA astronaut Ann McClain as well as NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers. Ayers is on the left and building that triangle. McClain is on the right in the spacesuit with the red stripes, and you can see the articulating portable foot restraint that she brought over to assist in the build.
Our work sites are going to get kind of close together, so let me know if I'm in your way. Okay. That's for easy. Out 18.3 light, and that was no turn.
Copy, no additional turns. We'll discuss. And for you, look like it's in work with 25. The clocking is 6. You already have the pitch at golf, so expect the handrail to be facing towards the IEA.
Copy. I'm stopping at 5145 to get a rich man's fair lead in.
And we copy in. Thanks.
Coast, EV2, for your essay, the PG burn count is 22.98. That's AP.
And in Vapor, we're going to proceed driving M15 to torque. So expect an additional 20 turns. It is Bravo 3 clockwise 2.
Okay. I have Bravo 3 clockwise 2 set and 15 on 5.
Copy.
If you're just joining us this morning, you're looking at a live view of two NASA astronauts outside the International Space Station performing a spacewalk. On your left of your screen is NASA astronaut Nichole Ayers completing her very first spacewalk today. On the right of your screen is NASA astronaut McClain with a spacesuit in red stripes on her third spacewalk. The primary tasks for the spacewalkers today is to install a support bracket called a modification kit, which will prepare the site for future installation and deployment of the fourth of 6 new International Space Station rollout solar arrays, or IROSAs. Additionally, the duo will relocate a communications antenna called the Common Communications for Visiting Vehicles, or C2V2 antenna, to ensure better redundancy in communication with visiting spacecraft to the International Space Station. And this view of McClain and Ayers helmet cams showing them at their respective work sites. McClain is working to translate or move over to where Ayers is at to continue to help with the triangle build.